Hello everyone, this is Teripper, and today we are playing some Path of Exile. Very different game from what I usually play, but first, an intro! Oh. Now that is over with, I just want to make slight mention of it. Thank you guys for all the feedback you have given myself and Tercel. Tercel is the guy who basically made it, made that intro, as well as a couple other songs, one of which you will be hearing at the end of this video as an outro. Once again, all the video behind these intro and outro songs and whatnot is very placeholder. It's just kind of what I've thrown together, but if you like how it is so far, if you like the music, if you like the feel, let me know. Thank you for all the feedback you've given so far, and without further ado, I'm just going to fly right on into this video here. So, what I'm playing is called Path of Exile. This is a very different game from what I usually play. I have promised to make content for this game for a very long time, I think a year ago, just about. I wanted to make content for this game, and ever since then, I haven't... this is a very on and off game for me. I have a very love-hate relationship with it, in that it steals so much time from me. This game is legitimately quite addicting. And I'll explain to you why it looks like my guy is hacking at the moment. To any of you who haven't played ARPGs or who have played a very basic amount of ARPGs, I will let you know in a minute. But the basic idea of this game, the basic idea of this game is very similar to games like Diablo, Grim Dawn, Torchlight. They're all action RPGs. Any of you who have played any of those games and enjoyed them, I highly recommend you guys keep watching. You guys check this game out if you have not. If you aren't really into ARPGs, and you don't really have much care for my personal commentary, then this may not be the game for you to watch. But I'm just trying to kind of get a bit of a repertoire established with you guys that have not played this game. But if you're interested, then by all means, keep watching. I'm going to go through a rather overall overview of how I play the game, why I like it, why I think you guys might like it, and you guys can, at the end, tell me in the comments if you want to see more content of it, because this is really what I've been spending most of my time on these days, other than Chivalry on the weekends. I usually just play Chiv on the weekends and then other games during the week. This is what I've been playing mostly during the week, and I love it. I have gotten... Oh, I leveled up. I have gotten several characters already to quite high levels, and by several I mean 2. Hold on, let's go Super Blender mode. Hold on. This is my build where I pretend to be a food processor. I have a build where I pretend to be a blender as well. However, this build for some reason is called I Identify as a Blender. It's called that because I was originally planning for this to be a purely I am a blender. But anyway, to those of you who haven't played this game, I want to make this very relatable. So let's go back to the home base. So where I actually am is in Act 4 of the hardest difficulty. This game is interesting in that it has 3 difficulties and 4 acts. Once you complete every act in the first difficulty, it sends you to the second, and then so on and so forth to the third. There are 4 acts in each difficulty, and as you level up, the level areas in each act and each difficulty get harder and harder to match your level, more or less. So why don't I go ahead and just show you guys generally. Right now, this character is level 72, right? That's very, very high level at the moment. And let me just throw this level up point. By the way, anyone who has not seen this game's skill tree, here you go. It's fucking huge. This skill tree is probably the biggest draw for most people coming to this game, because this skill tree determines most people's builds. And if you have not played an ARPG before, an action RPG, a build is basically what you want your character to be able to do, and the build is how you get him to be able to do that. So my guy, I wanted to be the best blender I possibly could. I wanted to hold a button in a direction and kill everything. And I've accomplished that. But I'll get to the details in a bit. So there's lots of idiosyncrasies and little complexities within this skill tree, and I'll talk to you guys about it if it comes to that point. But right now I'm just going to plop that skill there and show you just the breadth of it. It's fucking huge. And my class starts here in the skill tree. Other classes have their own starting points. But all in all, you can take points from anywhere in the skill tree, from anybody's skill tree, quote unquote. There's no limitations in that respect. And yeah, so this is the skill tree. It's a fantastic element of the game. I love it. Here's what gear and shit looks like. But this guy, I think it might be a little bit too complex to talk about it. First, let's go to my friend. I enjoy blending things. So here's all my characters. I have quite a few. Oh, whoops. Here's all my characters. I have quite a... Not that many, all in all. But in the current league, of which there is it's called Prophecy, I have these 6. And I'm just going to fly over to this one here. It's probably the best, just most simplest build I can possibly have any interest. Just as well, there's none of the things you can buy have any impact on your stash tabs. Your stash is kind of like a bank. It's like a storage unit. And I haven't bought any extra stash tabs, but I have bought a currency tab, which is very, very useful because you can plop all your currency in here. Unlike Diablo and games like it, there's no gold to speak of. There's just little currencies. And I'll talk about these more in another video if you guys are interested. But right now I'm just going to show you what this guy is all about. So this guy, he looks pretty cool. He's got a really cool skull thingy. I bought this as a microtransaction for like 5 cents on the Steam marketplace. It's fucking cool. He's also got this badass axe. And he's tricked out to all hell. But instead of explaining every last element of his person to you, I'm just going to show you. And to show you, we're going to go ahead, preferably to somewhere that is his level. Thing is, he's a very high level. He's level 77 at the moment. And you can play... Just demolishes everything and everyone in his path. You can play a character that is completely and utterly built for just pure annihilation in terms of single target damage, who's maybe not as good as area damage. You can build someone who casts spells solely. You can build an archer who can fire 20 arrows at a freaking time. You can build anything you can imagine. There are really dumb builds, too, that are really funny. For example, there's a gem here. Doesn't have any significance to you at the moment, but it's called Cast on Death. And you might be wondering, why would you want to cast a skill upon death? Well, usually this is used to cast a skill called Portal, which if you've played an ARPG before, you know there's a portal scroll, which creates a portal to town, which is like the safe zone where all the shopkeepers are. With this gem, however, some people build builds where they connect this gem to a bunch of damage-dealing gems that utterly destroys everything around your character as soon as you die. It's kind of stupid, in my opinion, but it's funny. And that kind of thing is really cool to see in this game. And it's got so much depth to it. I can't go over it in one video. But just for the overview, I think we're going to fly over. We're going to find a map. Yeah, let's do this map. I think this map is of a good level. You don't have to worry about anything that I'm doing right now. However, maps, this thing right here, this is basically end-game content. This is the beginning of end-game content, right? They're little instanced zones of high-level bosses, what have you. And we're going to fly right in here. So, the basis of this guy right here is that I hold right-click, and he spins. It's like Chivalry, spin to win. It's so much fun. Also, he can jump and just fly everywhere. It's glorious. And there's lots of little things going on with this character that allows him to basically melt through everything in his path. You might notice he's currently level 77 and I'm playing in a map with monster level 72. But that should not put any of you off because the monster level of maps is usually going to be a lot lower than the character level. Because at such a high level, you can get really boned no matter what. Doopy-doopy-doop. And of course, if you played an ARPG before, there's the concept of rare weapons, magical weapons, which are blue, rare weapons are yellow, and then there's normal, which are white. This game, I like to equate this game, if you guys are kind of at a loss, need something to identify with. This game is basically everything that Diablo 3 should have been on release. And I'm going to make a lot of people angry about that, but I'll admit now that Diablo 3 is much better than it was on release. However, I haven't played a whole lot of it, so I can't really speak to that. But I think it's the successor that Diablo 2 deserved. Even though it's very different. Very, very different. Diablo 2 is based on a system of gold. This game has no gold. It doesn't even have coins, except for this league, which you can't even spend on things. There's a very rich trading scene, however. So those orbs you saw in my chest that made up that currency tab, people trade with those as though they're gold. And it's a really interesting system where the economy is completely player-oriented. Hello, ghostly thing. And it's just such beautiful depth in a game like this, and it's completely free, and it's awesome. I sound like I'm preaching and like I'm selling it, but honestly, I think the more people that play this game, the better. Mostly because I can share my addiction. Now, I can stop anytime, really. I say that, and yet, probably not. At any rate, what you guys are seeing now, I'm basically just melting through people. If I wasn't talking, I'd probably be making noises as though I were a blender. But I don't want to give you guys that ear rape. Because the main reason I built this guy in particular was because I wanted to basically make a blender. I mentioned this briefly earlier, but well, sometimes I will just make a build because it's silly. However, this build is actually also very, very good. It's very survivable. And that may not mean a whole lot to you right now. Basically, it can make it quite far on its own. He can make it quite far. Whatever. It's a build. It's not even a person anymore. So, if you guys have any questions on this game, please make sure to leave them in the comments. I'm just going to do a little bit more gameplay in the meantime, and maybe make some blender noises. Okay, that probably hurts your guys' ears, but I think it's fun. I enjoy doing that. Oh man, this is disgusting. This is, however, a very, very simple build, and the one that I was playing at the very beginning of this video is a lot more complex to do. First and foremost, however, I should mention, if you are thinking of getting into this game, don't be too worried about making the perfect build. You will almost certainly not make the perfect build your first time around. My first build in this game, almost 2 or 3 years ago, he was a character based on using this ability. It's called Leap Slam. You basically jump into the air and slam onto something, deal damage. My very first character in this game was built to do that as many times as possible to deal damage. He wasn't very good, but he was so much fun. And I can tell you without any kind of, oh, hello. I can tell you without any kind of regret that I fully love that. I love the crap out of that character. Even now, if I'd never made a character like that, I would probably be very interested in doing something like that again. Because it was so much fun. I would show you guys that character now, but he's in a different league, and he probably isn't working properly because he's probably gotten either nerfed or buffed. I don't know. We'll see. He might be a topic for a video if I continue with this game. If you guys would like that, of course. So by all means, I think this video has gone on plenty long enough. 12 minutes, plenty of time to explain a game. If you guys want more content on Path of Exile, be sure to leave a comment. I'm thinking of kind of switching out the warband slot for this game, because if you guys saw my video yesterday on warband, episode 79, I think, of Herc the Dirk, I'm getting a little bit disenchanted of it. I very much like the game, and depending on how I feel someday, I may bring it back up. I'll definitely bring it back up for warband Bannerlord. Wait, there is no Warband Bannerlord. Mountain Blade Bannerlord. Yeah, I'll definitely bring it up for Mountain Blade Bannerlord because that game looks so damn good. Definitely check that shit out if you haven't seen anything on it yet. But for the time being, let me know your guys' thoughts. Thanks a bunch for watching. And enjoy this cute little outro, again by Tercel. Also, if you like the music Tercel makes, he is actually a part of a recording studio, which you can check out in the description. I've gone ahead and credited him for the music. Please do check him out if you're interested. As always, have a grand day, and I shall see you kind people next time.